This is Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Hot Mic, ready to rock and roll. East Grand Forks. Nate DeZiel will join us in studio about a half hour. Former Bison standout golfer, Summit League champion who just won the Minnesota State Am yesterday. He'll join us in studio, as I mentioned, about a half hour's time. A week from now, we got SEC Media Days going on. A week from now, the Big Ten will be holding its Media Days in Indianapolis, and then it really is go time. We were in Vegas last week. The Big 12 got it going for the talking season. SEC this week. Big Ten with its 28 teams next week. And for our next guest, then life really is over as they'll be back to work. It's our pleasure to welcome back to our show one of my all-time favorite interviews. I'm not saying that because he's on the show when he was a player. Now he's a big-time assistant in the Big Ten. Logan McCormick joins us, the pride of Kimberly, Wisconsin. I can say that because Colton Heagle will get mad at me. The former paper maker and national champion joins us, a grad assistant with Northwestern. It's great to see you. I was joking with you off air. I thought, is this your office? Are you that big time that you got your own office now?
No, I don't have my own office. Coaches are still on the vacation, so I took their office for the day.
It's great to see you. Congrats on everything. And for people that haven't followed you, tell us when time ended at NDSU, national championship over Montana State. What happened after that?
Well, obviously we celebrated. We celebrated after. Had a good time. I actually started student teaching that Monday after the national.
No kidding. I did not know that. Holy cow.
Yeah. So I student taught through that spring, and then I didn't walk at graduation in May because I started my first job out in Harrisonburg with James Madison University that week. So I didn't get to walk at graduation. Got right into workforce, which was great for me. Yeah. Keeps me busy. It was a long ways from home. So when Coach Braun got this opportunity and he reached out, I was really excited. Only about 2.5, 3 hours from home for me, which is great. Get to see family on vacation time like this, a little bit easier. You know, even on weekends can make the trip up. But I've been here since March of 2023. So I'm going into my second season here, and we're excited. We're excited to get to work. I know our coach has been on vacation, but they're all antsy just like I am to get this thing going.
How did the JMU opportunity come about?
It's funny. Obviously, with any type of job, it's about who you know and who knows you. So Coach Braun, he actually worked with the defensive coordinator there, Coach Brian Haynes, that whole staff is now at Indiana University. Right. So we'll see them this year. But he reached out on my behalf, and they just so happened to be looking for a position that I would be great for. And I interviewed and rocked and rolled. It was awesome. Had a great experience, great group of guys, had a lot of fun. Obviously, it was their first year transitioning into the Sun Belt, so that was a little bit different for them, but we competed and we played really well, won some games. And I know last year they were able to get into a bowl game, but even the year before, I think they would have been able to compete, and they played a whole Sun Belt schedule that first year and did a really good job. So I was thankful to have that opportunity, and then it got me ready for this job here.
How well did they welcome you in as a Bison? Knowing James Madison.
It was better than I thought.
Yeah.
You know, at first they didn't realize that I was the guy on the last play of the game that took the rest of their season away. No, but it was all good fun. We joked about it. Obviously, we played those guys a couple of times, and there's nothing but respect. You know, they understand. They have a very similar experiences that we do. You know, they have a winning tradition, high expectations, and all that good stuff. So it was a great environment to start my first job at.
Gosh, now you made me remember that play now at the end of the game. What do you remember about that play against JMU at the end of the game?
All I remember is I was dog tired. I was just happy it was over. I couldn't even pull myself into the stands after. I was too tired. So
you didn't go up? You didn't crawl up?
I tried. I made the jog over, and I tried, and I just screw it. I've done it a couple times already, so I don't need to. It's for the young guys.
You know the drill,
I don't want to hurt myself on the way down either.
You're right, exactly. So that you go your first year, and then obviously Coach Braun gets hired at Northwestern to be the defensive coordinator. Tell us from there. So does he call you up, or how does that all work?
Yeah, so as soon as he found out he had the job, he found out that they were looking for a defensive line GA and assistant. So he started getting a pool of guys together, and he obviously didn't know me. He coached me from 19 on, so had a good relationship with him, and he he laid out what it would look like, and I was excited to interview, and then interviewed with them, went through the process. Honestly, getting into the schooling part of it was harder than the actual interview, but ever since then, we've been rocking and rolling, It's been awesome to work with Coach Braun, working with a couple Jackrabbits too, which we get along.
I was going to ask you about that. Yes.
We get along great. Coach Smith and I, we work really well together. And Coach Luan's been a great addition too. So great dudes. Unfortunate that they had to wear the blue and gold, but it is what it is.
So I want to go back. This time last year, you have been there now for a couple months, and then obviously everything blew up with Coach Fitzgerald. How bizarre, awkward was it for you just getting there?
Yeah, it was really hard, and for the players, I just felt so bad for them. They put all this work in, and to have their season upended kind of like that. But the way they responded is what I would speak most about. They took it on with full force, and they came together as a team. They competed their butts off every single day, and didn't look back. And they obviously had a great season, and couldn't be more proud of how they responded to that. And with the whirlwind that was going on, our lives were crazy at times, but it was fun. We came together as a whole, not just the players, but coaching staff as well. We all just came together and we did it for each other, which is one of the more special moments that I think I'll probably ever have in my career. I haven't gone through that and then compete the way we did was really special. So
watching the Minnesota game, Logan, I thought that maybe the turning point of the year of that, how far back you guys came from in that game, won it. And boy, it seemed like you guys were a different team after that.
Yeah, that was definitely the turning point. I think we struggled early, and I think part of it was obviously with the distractions going on, but we just need to find our rhythm. We just wanted to get back to consistently playing football, and we just didn't really get that the first couple weeks out. Obviously we struggled against Duke, and we didn't play great at all against Rutgers week 1 either. But after Minnesota, there was belief, we can do this, we can win, we can compete in the Big Ten. Doesn't matter what's going on. Like, we're going to go now, we're in every game, and we competed in every single game that we played in. I think I truly believe we should have won at least 2 to 3 more games, and believe it or not, if Northwestern beats Iowa at Wrigley Field, we would have been in the Big Ten championship game, which would have been a wild, wild experience.
Well, the fact, some were predicting you guys would have won, maybe not even win a game. The fact that you won a bowl game, that you've had the ultimate success as a player. How rewarding was last season now as a coach to go through that for you personally?
It was something special.
Yeah.
And as a player, that there's a lot of work that goes into creating a game plan and making sure everything runs and operates smoothly. And I think you take that for granted. But from a coach's perspective, knowing how difficult it is to win and get your guys prepared and seeing them buy into it day after hearing all these things that come out, and it was just mentally tough kids that we have. And it's, like I said, it's probably going to be one of those memories that I have in my career for the next 50 years. And I don't think I'll ever forget that feeling, and how happy and emotional those guys were when they were able to raise that trophy down in Vegas. Yeah. It was something special.
Where were you when you found out that Coach Braun was going to get the job permanently?
That's a good question. I think I was here in the office.
Yeah.
And then they sent out an email just a little bit before it became public. So we were all super, super happy for him. But at that point, after we had beat Wisconsin, it was like, okay, there's no question anymore. Like, we solidified this thing, and that was a fun game. That was, especially at home turf for me, that was awesome.
I was going to ask, going into Madison, you've been there, you've played at Camp Randall every year you were in high school. What was that like to go back now as a college coach?
It was super awesome. I had a bunch of family that came, they supported. Not everyone wore purple for me. Some people were wearing, some of them were alums, so I can't disrespect it, but
That's awesome.
There's a lot of family there. I was telling our guys that I was undefeated in Camp Randall going into the game, and they were hopping on the train. They said, "Well, we can't have you lose now." So that was fun.
That's fantastic. You mentioned now and there's a little bit more Bison blood there. Ian Dino's there. Zach Peters is there. Guys that you know. How much does that help for you personally? There's more guys you know from Fargo that are there in Evanston now.
I think it's really special, and we obviously just having that connection is great, but having good relationships with those people as well. And I think NDSU has done some really good things on and off the field, and I think they just help bring a different perspective. And bringing in new people is always a good thing. But we've got people from all over. Our tight ends and special teams coordinator, Coach Creighton, was in the college football playoff last year at Washington. Coach O'Boyle, he's been in this thing for a long time. Harlan Barnett was the interim head coach at Michigan State. Like, we've got a ton of really, really good people that have been around football for a long time. And everybody's been a fantastic addition to this staff. Coach Ron has done a great job and have fun together. And that's the best part is we all get along really well, and we're going to push these kids to do the best that they can.
Logan McCormick joining us, former Bison standout defensive end, now Northwestern grad assistant. For people that don't follow the game or don't know, give us the lowdown of your day. What are you allowed to do? Like with fall camp coming, what are the extents or limits of your job, if there are any?
Essentially, there are no limits. So what graduate assistants used to be it was another way to get a coach on the field. And basically, my day would start. My alarm would go off 4:30. I'd drive into the office, make sure everything's ready for practice because we're a morning practice team. Make sure everything's smooth. Position meeting rooms are set up. Film is good. Screens are working. All that good stuff. They go through their meetings, which either I'll sit in or not, depending on how much work I got to do. Then we'll go out practice. I'm running individual. We're working through signaling on team and getting our scout team situated. Immediately come in from practice, get our data in so we can watch film, watch practice. And as soon as that's over, start game planning. And then as soon as that's over, I'm drawing cards for the next day. So during the fall, it's almost like you don't even know what time it is or what day it is. But you catch your breath when the season's over. So that's all that matters. But no, it's really helping out wherever you can, and cutting your teeth in this profession, which I'm thankful to do that with a great staff. Because in both spots that I've been, having good people around you makes it a lot easier. A lot of people that are supporting you and help you out where you can. And at this level, you got a lot of people around that can help you too. So you lean on each other and you get that stuff done.
Sorry, when was coaching coming to the forefront for you? Was it something you realized in Fargo or soon after? When did you say, I want to go down this road?
I always knew I wanted to coach. So that's why I got into teaching. I originally wanted to be a high school teacher and coach. And then I actually had some long conversations with my position coach in college, Coach Williams. He was asking me, like, why don't you want to coach in college? Like, why not try it out, see if you like it? And then you can always go teach and coach anywhere else you want. And then I started to think about it, and I started to realize that the competitiveness in me was pushing me towards this level. Anybody that knows me would probably agree with that statement. But I think it's originally I wanted to coach high school ball because I wanted to help young guys and learn and teach the game of football. But when I got to college, I realized I wasn't as mature as I originally had thought. And I think there's a ton of growth that happens from when you're 18 to 22. And I wanted to be there for those guys for that. Now that was kind of the biggest motivation for me, helping guys make that transition from, I think I'm a man to, no, I am one. So that was the big push, and the competitiveness was what really, really set it over the edge for me.
Couple minutes left here with Logan. How often do you bring up that you have 8 combined championships between high school and college?
I hardly ever bring it up, but sometimes people ask, and then I'm not shy. I don't let them know, but I always tell people I should have had one more. Yeah. I'm regretful for that. So, and they think it's funny, but. That's something like similar with what we talked about with the bowl game this past year. Those are memories that I'll always have, and I'm thankful for every single one of them. But Coach Braun talks about with our guys, like those things are fleeting. The relationships that you have and build through this thing. When I was a player and coach now, those are the things that really matter. Getting to go to Cordell's wedding, like we talked about, getting to go to my best friend Lane's wedding this summer as well, and a bunch of future ones. That's what it's really all about.
I forgot that Lane Tucker got married this week or this summer too. You've been all over the place.
Oh man, I made a drive out west a couple of times. I forgot how long it was. It's bad. No, but I'll do that a million times as long as I get to go see those guys. So,
well, you mentioned the one time that Sam Houston game. Do you think about it still? That game that was played in 95 degrees in May of all times?
Too often I think about it. It gives me nightmares. Oh, man. I tell people all the time, if I was just a little bit faster, I could have scored a touchdown and wouldn't have had to worry about it. Because I think we had punt return for a touchdown, kickoff return for a touchdown, and then a safety for 2 points. And if that was 7, can't remember the final score, but it would have been a lot closer, which I put on my shoulders. I should have been faster.
Hey, well, you blocked it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Real quick before I let you go. So obviously the stadium renovations are happening. Tell us about what you guys know as a staff, where you're playing, and how discombobulated you feel will it be this year with your home stadium not available?
It's funny you say that. I'm going to flip the camera around really quick.
Okay.
You can see it. How do I flip?
It's no big deal if you can't.
Oh, here we go. So you can kind of see they're building up the end zone over there in the back today. And then there's going to be the grandstands that are right here on the sideline. That's going to be raised up.
Okay.
There's a little bit that's along the lake which would be the left side. And then they're going to build, there's a parking lot on the other end zone where they're going to have some stands as well for student section and the band. So it's going to be interesting. But it's going to be a really, really fun atmosphere. These guys have been working hard. They put this stuff up real fast. So it's going to be a fun experience right here on the water for our fans, and going to make it home for the next couple of years.
I have seen just video and photos of the practice facility. Is it as beautiful as it looks and you're there?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You can't complain coming into this office every day. I'm driving in, and the sun's coming up over the water, and our indoor has got huge glass windows along the whole side. Weight room is backed up to the water. Like it's the best views in college football, and I will argue with anyone on that.
All right, so, two last things to go. Hardest guy you ever had to tackle was who?
Had to be James Robinson.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Had to be him. I think he made our whole defense miss on one play in Illinois in normal in 2019.
That's right.
Jake Cava, you can ask him about that one because I give him crap for it every single time I see him.
Favorite opponent to play? Was there a team that you always loved getting up for, or did it not matter?
I loved playing against obviously South Dakota State is one of them, but UNI was always a fun one for me.
Yep.
Because they had some top tier talented dudes up front, and they were just physical as all heck, and they were fun to compete against. And then James Madison is up there too.
Yeah.
I only got to play my true freshman year in 17. I was on kickoff return. And I got beat up real bad even on the 5 or 6 snaps that I was in the game. But then in 19 and 21, those were both really, really, really fun games. They're super. A lot of them, they argue that if we would have had to play them in 21 at their place, that they would have beat us. And they lost to Villanova on a last-second field goal, which caused them to get seated lower than us. So
I don't know if I believe that. The number 44 was pretty good that day. I don't know if anybody was tackling him that day.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've never had to tackle number 44. He probably would have been on the top of that list. But I've done some one-on-ones against him on the wall, and he's pretty good all over the place.
No doubt.
So.
It's great to see you, man. Congrats on the job. I look forward to following you guys this fall. It's going to be fantastic. Be well. We'll do this again soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, Dom.
There he goes. Logan McCormick, former Bison defensive end, now Northwestern grad assistant with the Wildcats, and David Braun, the head coach. We're trying to get him on too before the season gets going. He's got these Big Ten Media Day things, but we'll try, and appreciate him giving a few minutes here. We're overdue for a break. We'll take one here, get caught up. I see Nate DeZiel is here. We're going to have him in studio in just a few minutes, chat about his big week that he had. We roll on a busy Thursday. We're back after this.